failure. Today, I'm going to talk about why people fail, right? And honestly, at the very onset of that, my answer would be who fails? Who fails? You never, ever fail. Nobody ever fails. There's nothing called as failure. People only give up, right? People give up. They do not follow through to finish achieving what they wanted to do. They don't have the patience. They say they don't have the time. They don't have the resources. They give a lot of excuses, all right? They get overwhelmed. They get boggled down, right? They get intimidated. You can give 1,000 reasons, all right? But the only reason they, do not get down to doing what they wanted to do is because they give up, all right? Now, examples of this could be, for example, somebody sees an Olympian, all right, and decides that, hey, I want to be like that guy, or a boxer, or, an athlete of any nature, right, or a musician, right? I could be one example of I've been playing music from my very young days, actually more of a natural kind of a learner, looking at others. I never learned it professionally, right? But I did try to enroll for multiple classes and, become a little more proficient in that. And I never followed through. Right? So till today, I am very much an amateur musician, right? So if I have to reword it, it could be termed as I failed to become a professional musician, right? Is that failure, right? So, and the second question that follows through is, what is failure? Who decides what is failure, right? Now, this is something that is man-made, right? Either a standards that you set up or a benchmark that the people around you, the society at large set for you, right? What is to be accomplished by someone? What do you have to do to be called a success or failure, right? Starting from a very, very young age, school-going time, right? Unless you get so much of marks, you fail, right? Unless you get so much as a salary in your job, you fail, correct? You are a failure. If you have not traveled the world, you're a failure. If you don't dress in a certain way, you're considered a failure, right? Everything is a man-made. If you don't have a home, if you don't have a car, I've come across so many people who have such low esteem of themselves simply because they do not speak good English. Now, what kind of a failure is that? I mean, trust me, I've met at least 1,000 people. I've moved pretty closely with at least 1,000 people who are native English speakers, and they know no other language than English. Trust me. Only English. That is the only language they speak. If your mother tongue is French or Hindi or Japanese or, Korean or whatever it is, right? And if you speak your language and English in a very, very basic manner, how does that make you, anything less than a fluently English speaking person, right? Why are you a failure? So there are many factors which have been set by the society over a period of time, which are considered as benchmarks to decide whether you're a failure or a success. You fail only when you lose that sparkle in your eyes, when you forget dreaming, right? When you give up on all those great ideas that you had, right? When you say, man, I cannot do handstand. That is the only time you can call yourself a failure, nothing else, right? There's no other benchmark other than what you set by yourself that can be used to call you a failure. Right? Why should you conform to what everybody else says, right? And if you look at that, if, for example, if you take the monetary part of it, there is only 1% of the entire world's population who can be called as rich. Only 1%, right? And only 4% are financially free. Trust me, right? These are statistics publicly available. So you're talking about 5% of the people from every 100 people you come across who are either rich or financially free. So the remaining 95% are anyway below that bracket. So whom are you trying to emulate? Whom are you trying to hit? Whom are you trying to take as a benchmark and call yourself a failure, right? So trust me, there is no failure. And if you expand that a little more, here is what I would like to say. Okay, if you're born to be a dolphin, you cannot climb a tree, and that's no failure. And if you're a monkey and you cannot swim like a dolphin, that's no failure either, right? So you need to look at yourself as a very unique, beautiful creature, right? You're an amazing, unique, incomparable person in the whole world. So when you're the only person of your only kind, how can you compare yourself to somebody else and say that I'm less than that and therefore I must be a failure? No way, right? In fact, a long time back, I heard somebody say that every single person, no matter who, right? The sum total of each person is 100%. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. All right. So let me give you an example. Okay. Now, what this person who was speaking, I really like, I don't even remember who it was. So I can't quote who it was, but, I would give credit to that point that came from him. And the point was this, okay? For example, if you see somebody who is, we have come across a lot of people who don't have eyes, okay? They cannot see. But their skills of listening, the power of listening is much, much, much more. And therefore, they can pick up the slightest of the sounds or notes or, micro differences. And they also start singing extremely well, right? So there is something minus on this. There is something plus on this, right? So this is the kind of stuff that I mean, right? Somebody could be having a problem of walking. Maybe they walk with a limp, right? But they may be more skilled in something else, all right? For example, they could be extremely good in archery or in shooting, right? You may not be good in that, right? So maybe somebody has got more brain power, somebody has got more muscle power, and so on and so forth, right? So if you add up everything, the sum total of every single person is 100%, nothing more, nothing less, right? So nobody in this world is a failure, all right? So if you are someone who has ever gotten low in energy, thinking that you are not good enough, you're not as good as the other person, you're not a big success as much as the other person. In simple words, if you feel that you're a failure, get that thought out of your mind today. Or if you've been thinking that the person next door, right, or your friend, or even your own child is a failure, big mistake, my friend. Remove that from your thought. Okay, there is nothing called as failure. Okay, you do not fail. Okay, you either give up and stop, trying to achieve, which again is attributed to why in the first place did you try to want to do that, right? So they say that if that why is strong enough, nothing can stop you, right? You become like the person with the ant mentality. Okay, you know what ants do? When they're marching forward and they come across a boulder, any kind of thing that prevents them going forward, what do the ants do? They never turn backwards. They never go, like, okay, let's split and return home. Let's change our destination. No, they will always go towards that same original destination. They may go over that obstacle, under that obstacle, around that obstacle, whatever it is, but they'll find a way to reach their goal, right? So you don't have to give up, number one. And the other thing to look at it is you are your unique self. There is no comparison, all right? There is no comparison at all. So even if you try to, you cannot fail in life, okay? Put your collars up, chin up, okay? Give a big smile, a pat on your back, and call yourself a success of all kinds, okay? You are special, you are unique, and you are wonderful. And now you have a great day ahead. You take care, my friend. You're on.